This tutorial is on Dreamweaver, Chapter 3, Lesson 6. Lesson 6 has to do with inserting a background image and performing site maintenance. On page 3-36, we are working with a file called About Us, where you have all your images on the screen, on the left and on the right. And here it wants us to add a background image. We can get to that dialog box by clicking on Modify, Page Properties, or we can hit Control-J, or down in the Properties Inspector panel, we have Page Properties here. Either way will bring us into this Page Properties dialog box. We're supposed to click on Appearance CSS category, which is the first one, then click on the Browse next to Background Image. And we want to make sure that we are in the Chapter 3 Assets folder and choose Umbrella. Back. Say OK, and then say OK. You'll notice that in the bottom right corner you don't see the umbrella back until you click on the refresh button, and then you'll see the umbrella back file. But look at your screen. Look what happens when we put in a background image. It makes it repeat, and it can be kind of bothersome. It wants us to repeat the same process going into our page properties and substitute the stripes back umbrella. So I'm going to click on Browse and choose Stripes Back and say OK. And say OK. And you'll notice that that is a little bit less bothersome, but it's still somewhat annoying. Now it wants us to go back into the page properties and select that image and delete it, and then say OK. And you'll notice that the white is typically the better background color. Helps everything to show up that much better. Page 3-38, we're going to delete a file in our Assets folder. Make this a little bit bigger. Here we go. And in the Assets folder, we have the stripe back. Make this a little wider so you can see everything. The striped, oops, I gotta hit refresh because I don't see stripe. There it is. The striped back GIF file, and it wants us to delete it. So basically, we can just hit the delete key. And so, do you really want to delete the selected file? And say yes. And the umbrella back. Why are we deleting these files from the Assets folder? Because we tried to see what they look like as a background, and we didn't like it. So we're deleting them from the Assets folder. You don't want extra images in here because it just takes up space. Even though we deleted it from the page, it still makes that image stay in the Assets folder. On page 339, it's talking about non-web safe colors. We're to click on the Assets panel and then choose the second button on the left, Colors. Right now the colors that we have chosen are all web safe, as you can see on the right hand side. And if you see non-web safe colors listed, then you can click on the Site menu on the application bar and point to Advanced, then click Recreate Site Cache. The non-web safe colors should then be removed from the Assets panel. Make sure that whatever colors you choose are web safe, and typically they will be if you choose them from the palette. This concludes the tutorial on Dreamweaver, Chapter 3, Lesson 6.